Hi, I'm Adrian Waring here with Priceless Realty in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers area. This is the market update as to what has gone on in Fort Myers for the month of May of 2024. Today is June 11th. We generally get market update. It takes a couple of weeks to get the full info as to what's gone on the market for the previous month. So now we have that information. Let's see what's happened. One thing, the difference between Cape Coral actually saw a median sales price drop, which is now at $395, but Fort Myers had a slightly increase at $463,750. This doesn't necessarily mean though that prices are on the rise. It could be that we just had some higher value homes that had sold, and obviously tend to skew the numbers a little bit as well anyway. But the market is definitely different from what it was a year ago. As you can see here, compared to May of 2023, prices are down about 9% from where they were. In fact, it was showing at $507,500. So we're down about $50,000 or so, or getting close to that from where we were. Closed sales is 388, a little bit higher than what was in May of the previous year. However, the big difference is the number of homes that are currently for sale. We show an active inventory, and this is pretty accurate as of right now too. I think it's a little bit high, but not significant. As of June 11th, maybe by about 10 properties or so. But this is showing 1,769 single-family homes within the area. That is a 54% increase over what it was from last year. So even though the closed sales is up a little bit from what it was a year ago, by 0.5%, which is not a lot, the inventory is up considerably from where it was. So if we take the average of that, what we're finding then is that sales are definitely sluggish or slow from what they were over last year. So what does that mean? Well, that pretty much means that we're no longer, and haven't been in a seller's market for quite some time. We're now in a buyer's market. We're seeing more and more properties sit on the market. They tend to stay in the market a long time as well. But we seem to be pretty much holding around that 1,800 range in single family homes listed for sale within the Fort Myers area. But some issues we're facing is obviously the cost is up considerably from what it was some years ago. Our inventory is probably what it was now. Sometimes it's kind of interesting to see what it was. I think I can go back to 2019 to May. Let's see what the inventory was in 2019. 1,800. So basically in May 2019, we had the same number of homes for sale that we have right now. So obviously after 2019, we actually saw through COVID where the inventory dropped a lot to probably the 400 or 500 range, and people kind of got used to that, and prices went up a lot. A lot of people, buyers looking at property, you get multiple offers on it because there just wasn't a lot of homes for sale. So now we're getting back into a more normal market in which buyers now have more homes to choose from. One of the things obviously is the median price point is considerably higher now than what it was back in 2019. 274.4. As we saw, 450 had sold on that one. And interestingly, between May of 2018, the price actually in 2019 had dropped a little bit. But as we go right now back to May 2024, it is up considerably to 463,750. I always find it interesting to take a look and see what had closed on the low end, a couple of like the below 3 price point, and what closed on the high end, the top 3, and also look at where new construction falls in right now, because new construction still plays quite an important part in what's going on in a contract in our area. Some of the issues we're currently facing, I'm seeing a lot of negative, even things pacing on YouTube that we're seeing 2008 over again because and that inventory that we have for sale. But what people don't understand is the number of homes we have right now is what was a normal market like in 2019 before COVID and everything went crazy. The biggest difference, obviously, our prices have gone up some $200,000, which makes it somewhat expensive to live in that area compared to what it did some years ago. The other thing as well that we see the difference too is that we're also finding as well that interest rates are up a lot more. Insurance is up as well. So a lot of factors that come into play in buying a home. I have a customer right now that has $1 million home that they bought about 20 years ago, and their current mortgage on that I think is around the $1,500 range. But when I explain to them right now that somebody buying that home based on rates where they're at, putting 20% down with taxes, insurance, is like a $6,500 payment, which is vastly different from what it was 20 years ago. So it does mean that the number of buyers in that price point is a lot different from what it would have been 20 years ago, when prices were less, interest rates were less, and everything was as well. So we got a bit of an uphill battle going on there in regards to properties. So let's take a look and see what is basically closed in the last month price-wise. So let's take a look at what are the 3 lowest priced homes that are sold within Fort Myers last month. Interestingly, one was in East Fort Myers, listed at $50,000. This one went for $96,000. Obviously not much to look at here. The second one was another one over in North Fort Myers, listed at $117,500. They did sell for that as well. And our third lowest was a manufactured home, but obviously it included land in Six Lakes County Club, North Fort Myers. That was listed at $134,900, sold for $128,500. So let's see what went on the high end. Okay, so this in some ways why we're probably seeing the price increases on average went up last month over previous months, because we've got some pretty high-end homes that went under contract and sold. Miramar Lakes tends to take the majority of those, I've noticed, over the last year or so. So here we've got one that was listed at $6,400,000 over in Miramar. Obviously it's a real nice house here, sold for $6,100,000. Sometimes it's interesting to see did they do any price decreases from the time it was listed. So this was pretty much listed at $6,600,000 and stayed at that price point, but ended up going on contract a couple times before it finally dropped it to $6,399 and sold for $6,100,000. And then the next one again, also in Miramar, listed at $4,975,000, went for $4,600,000, as you can see right here. Listed at $5,700,000 at one point back in 2023, went through a number of price decreases, ended up, as I said, selling at $4,600,000. So that basically sold for $1 million less than what it was listed for back in 2023. So I think agents are having some difficulty sometimes trying to figure out at what price point do properties to get sold, and maybe sellers themselves were thinking the market was what it was a couple of years ago, which it's not. So we've got another one in Bay Harbor Estates, listed in Fort Myers. This one was listed at $3,700,000, sold for $3,300,000. So it was a pretty good price decrease as well. And that was listed at that price, but went on a contract within 30 days of being listed. So pretty much right off, that one went under contract. Let's take a look and go back and just to look and see out of the actives how much new construction plays a part in. So in actives right now we have 1,713 homes for sale. So let's say if we go 2023 or newer, let's do 2024 and see how many homes that represents. So we have 143 homes, so about 10% of the market is new construction. We actually see that's a higher number within Cape Coral. I think it's close to 20%. On the pending side right now, we have 87 homes currently pending. They're at 2024 or newer. That out of the numbers that are pending, 542, so what's that, about 15% of the market right now in new construction. It's actually higher in Cape Coral as well. On the closed side, as I said, we had 388. On the new construction end, 2024, it is 41. So we're looking about what, 15% again on that. So 50% of the market in what's listed, pending, has closed, is in Fort Myers, represents that about 50% of the market. It's actually higher in Cape Coral. I looked at that earlier. If you have any questions about real estate market, obviously things are not where they were a couple of years ago. So what you read about a couple of years ago, forget about it. It's not today. It's a completely different market. We switched to a buyer's market. It's taken longer for things to sell. and generally I'll see more price reductions as well. That's definitely on the rise too. So if you have any questions about the market, I've been selling here for 25 years. I've sold close to 1,000 properties in that time period, so there's not a lot I don't know about it, and I live here too, so I look forward to hearing from you, and wish you a good day, and enjoy the weather.